What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. It's episode number 4 and we're starting today's stuff on the back of a big pressure relieving win against David Moyes' West Ham by a goal to nil at the London Stadium, with a scouting update and academy update as well. And we do have a couple of players going in to our academy from this batch of scouting, including a young goalkeeper there who you might have noticed called Alan Wynne, a Welsh goalkeeper. And as we mentioned at the very start of this season, the board are looking this season for free academy graduates and at least one to feature heavily in the first team this season. Well, Alan Wynne looks pretty decent. Already 60 overall, just 16 years old with 77 to 94 potential. What you'll notice is that his GK positioning is really poor. It's 49. It's the lowest of the technical / goalkeeping stats here. So I decided to give him a pro deal, see what his potential is like since we could check it at 60 overall. And as you can see, he's an exciting prospect. Yes, just 16 years old, 60 overall already, and again, some good potential to begin with. And I've got to say, if we can train our positioning up pretty quickly, we should see his overall rise pretty quickly as well. So in the development plan, I'll give him the sweeper keeper development plan that will train his weak foot up, and also again the kicking, and most crucially the positioning, which is so low at the moment as well. So hopefully, if we can get his overall up pretty quickly, he can maybe become our backup goalkeeper this season for David Raya. As we know, Alvaro is currently on the bench, but he's on loan here at Brentford. Wynne becomes our third choice goalkeeper for now. However, gotta say, I'm excited about that guy, an exciting prospect, and finally we've got a youth player with a potential tag coming through the academy. First one of the save. Let's hope he lives up to that potential. So for the first game of today's episode, on the back of a big win against West Ham, another London derby, a West London derby here, as we would face Chelsea at home. Obviously, this is the lowest played West London derby out of all of the four. Brentford, Chelsea, Fulham and QPR. These two teams have met fewer times than the others and the other ties in West London derbies. So taking on Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, the Champions League winners. Start the season off, as we know, it's been a real struggle as we're just above the bottom three. But early on into the game, we get ourselves a bit of a gift. Brian Mbeumo scores his second goal in 2. But one thing I'm noticing in this year's FIFA is that goalkeeper distribution is really poor. They often throw the ball straight back to you. That's exactly what Edouard Mendy did there, and he possibly should have saved a shot as well. It wasn't very accurate from Mbeumo. Yes, it was on target. It was pretty much straight at the goalkeeper. He got no touch on it whatsoever, but we don't mind one bit, and Mbeumo gives us the lead, and a shock lead at the Community Stadium. So leading by a goal. Chelsea didn't threaten too much in the first half, I'll be honest. Timo Werner having their first real chance of the game, easily dealt with by Raya as you watch it sail wide the post. And again, 62 minutes in, is it just me, but I'm noticing this quite frequently? Mendy having a bit of a stinker in this game, throwing it straight back to us, not for the first time in the game. Goalkeeper distribution is just really poor, it seems, in this year's FIFA. So leading by a goal, and I got to be honest here, I don't know how I wasn't leading by more, or maybe I do, because I find scoring goals in this year's FIFA ridiculously hard. Rico Henry smacking the woodwork as it was still 1-0, and late on in the game, just a few minutes to go, a chance to make it 2. Lovely movement and build up to get ourselves forward. Tony hits the post, then Henry has his shot blocked, and then Jensen somehow puts it wide from close range. If there was one highlight that summed up my finishing ability in this year's FIFA, it was that one. 3 golden chances, I missed a lot, all from about 10 yards out. Shocking, absolutely shocking. But hey, listen, we'll take the win. 1-0 the final score. How I didn't score more goals, I don't know. We'll take the 3 points. And the first time this season, it's back-to-back wins for Brentford, and Lord knows we needed it. Once again, only a single goal getting scored. I'm yet to play a game where I've scored more than 1 goal in a game. But at the moment, listen, it's a win. It's back-to-back wins. We've now got 9 points for the season. We're above the relegation zone, and I'll take it. I want to score more goals, obviously, because it's a bit of embarrassing to start the campaign off. I've only scored 3 goals all season long. But hey, to be honest, if it keeps us in the division, you know, I'm certainly not going to complain too much. But still, with the second game of today's episode here, staying in Community Stadium now, welcoming Brendan Rodgers-Less to the commentators on here. Early on into the game, we would fall behind as our streak of clean sheets would end after 2 games. Iosa Perez, the former Magpie, giving the Foxes increases the lead as they take the early advantage. I'm noticing this quite a bit in this year's FIFA as well. AI awareness is really, really good. That's not the first time this season where a player has played it backwards as I brought David Raya out to meet the oncoming forward. But right before the break, we get ourselves a little bit of luck. Going through 1-on-1 after Ethan Pinnock went on a storming run, rolling through Ivan Toney. The shocker, first shot saved by Kasper Schmeichel, came straight back to him and wasn't going to miss at his second time of asking. So back on level terms, first game all season long where both teams in the game had scored a goal, and with 17 minutes to go, it almost became the first game where I'd scored more than one. Yes, Ivan Toney looking for his second of the game, firing it just wide of Schmeichel's post in what in the end was our first draw of the season. Final score, Brentford 1, Leicester 1. I'll certainly take it. That's now no losses in 3, so after a very tough start to the season, don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but beginning to get a bit of a foothold and beginning to play a little bit better. We've had some drubbings already against Wolves and Liverpool, some really frustrating defeats, but yeah, starting to play a little bit better, dare I say so myself. I'll take the 1-1 draw there against the Foxes, and again, that's now 7 points picked up from a possible 9. I will certainly take that against 3 good teams as well, Chelsea, Leicester and West Ham. Very credible results indeed. Still for the following game of today's episode, this was an interesting one. Carabao Cup round of 16 away from home, and as we know, making it through to the last 16, now taking on Oxford United away at the Kassam Stadium. Heading into the game, I continue to keep faith with my backup team, and 25 minutes in, after we got an earlier knock in the game, Ricky J. Jones gets his first goal for Brentford. We mentioned before, is it Ivan Toney 2.0? Well, scores his first goal for his new club since coming in from the Posh in the summer window. Sends the goal to send us through. But I think our progress in the EFL Cup might end in this last day, as thankfully Jay Jones, the first injury of the season, is just a bruised shoulder and a little knock, and not a serious one for the former Peterborough United teenager. Yeah, we got Manchester United in the last day of the Carabao Cup, so pretty gutted about that, I'll be honest, man. Making it to quarterfinals, decent achievement for our first season with Brentford, based on how we started the campaign off, but I can't see us getting through Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side away from home at Old Trafford. Obviously, I probably will pick some starters for that one, but it'll come in mid-December with a lot of fixture congestion naturally. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure we're going to make it through to the semi-finals this season. Still for the following game, Burnley away, Turf Moor, our final game of October, and this was going to be a massive one away as well. 3 decent results, no losses in our last 3 games, but this one I was really hoping would be a big victory here in what could be an early relegation 6-pointer. Burnley haven't started off this season too badly though in the game, but taking on Sean Dyche's side, I knew the importance of picking up points away from home, and heading into the game with only 1 win away all season long, 33 minutes in, I felt confident after no losses in our last 3 games, 7 points from 9, and finally this guy has got going. Yes, tough start for the season, but he's my guy, he's the shocker star of my Sheffield United team, and if we are to pull ourselves away from the drop zone, I need this guy to recapture the form he had with the Blades all those years ago. Ivan Toney smacks it in to the top corner, 3rd goal in 10, and finally the shocker is beginning to come alive. Great finish under pressure past Nick Pope. Burnley 0, Brentford 1. In the second half though, leading by a goal, I was playing some pretty good defence like I have done for quite a lot of the games this season, and never mind the Wolves and Liverpool games, but even so I was playing some pretty decent defence, but unfortunately got a little bit of bad luck here. 63 minutes in, Ashley Westwood doing some dribbling. I made the tackle with Pontus Jansson, but the deflection goes straight back to the Burnley midfielder, finds Ashley Barnes, and Barnes with a trademark celebration drills it in as Burnley get back on level terms. Little bit of a misfortunate goal to concede, but one of those things, and late on, still tied at 1-1. At this point I was going to take the point away from home at Turf Moor, but after some brilliant dribbling by Rudiaz here, whips the ball into the centre, and Burnley find their winner right towards the end. 7 minutes to go, and they get themselves what would prove to be a big 3 points. Rui Bao with the goal. Not what you consider to be a traditional Burnley Sean Dyche type of signing, right? The former Real Betis man coming in the summer transfer window, but Burnley win it in the end. Probably deserved to win the game as well. But as that win lifts them further away from the drop zone, it drags us closer down to the bottom 3. So yes, as October would end, it was actually a really decent month for Brentford as well. You know, we only lost 1 game in the entire month, but 10 games into the season with the Red Devils currently leading the way, we dropped down to 16th in the table, 10 points on the board, with 2 points clear of Everton in 18th place right now, and yes, we are still the league's lowest scorers by quite a few goals, so I need to do something to get us more creative, man. I need to get some more goals in this Brentford side, because I just don't think we're going to stay up at this point with this low amount of productivity on the offensive end. Look, defensively, again, I've been doing okay. Minus the Wolves and Liverpool game, I've been pretty solid at the back for the most part. I think I can keep a relatively decent amount of clean sheets with this Brentford side and pick up points here and there as draws, but I need to get more goals, because there are going to be games like that one where, you know, we're trailing and we need to get back in the game, and so far we haven't had like a comeback point claimed or comeback victory. Whenever we've been in a trading position in a game this season, we've lost every single game. So yeah, I need to be better on the offensive end. So the final game of today's episode here, Norwich, newly promoted side, just like us coming to the Premier League. Massive game here down the bottom of the table, and again, we consider to be an early relegation 6-pointer. So after our first loss, after none in the previous 3, taking on the Canaries here. Desperately needed to get at least a point in this game. A win would be massive. And 51 minutes in. God, I didn't know how to celebrate, but I was going crazy. Ivan Toney with a free ball. And who runs onto it? Sebastian Jakobsen, our first youth player out of the academy, getting a goal and making it 1-0. Drilling it in at the near post. And that's definitely something I recommend this season as well. I shouldn't be giving tips on how to score goals in this year's FIFA, based on a low amount that I have scored. But I do think that smash shots towards the near post are probably the best way to do it. Finesse shots for me just aren't working in this year's FIFA. Put a lot of power on it, aim towards the near post. I'd say you got more success that way. But anyway, Jakobsen with the goal, Seb giving us the lead. Norwich would find a leveller though soon afterwards, and in the end, a 1-1 draw courtesy of Josh Sargent's equaliser sees us once again fail to win. So no wins in our last 3 for Brentford, but it's all perspective. Only 1 loss in our last 5 in the Premier League. It's not been too bad of a run of form for Brentford, but the problems continue for us. We haven't been able to get it sorted in front of goal, and 11 games in, as you can see, down the bottom of the table in 16th place, only 3 points off Everton. There's a long way to go and still quite a lot of concern. But that went to this episode of Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, if you had, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.